Hey everyone, welcome back. Are you sick and tired of the same old flavorless steak cooked on the grill? If so, this video is for you. Today I'm going to show you how to sear and smoke a prime top sirloin. This steak is delicious to be eaten in itself as a steak, or if you want, you can turn it into a steak sandwich, which is what I prefer to do with it. The cooking process of this is very easy. There's very minimal steps involved. The first step, which I believe is one of the most important steps other than correctly smoking it, is to season the steak with a little bit of salt. What I like to do is I like to season it for 2 hours in the fridge, and then I will pull it out, I'll flip it, I'll season the other side, and I'll leave it on the counter to get up to room temperature before I throw it in the smoker. So when seasoning it, it's important to use coarse kosher salt, and then just to season the steak pretty liberally. However much you want to use is really dependent upon your palate. I don't mind a little bit of salt, but if you have high cholesterol or blood pressure, you might want to reduce the amount of salt used. What this does is it helps to pull out some of the juices and the flavor and then redistribute it back into the steak. So now, if you see, I have a pretty liberal amount of salt on the steak. So it looks like that, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to throw it in the freezer or the fridge for the next 2 hours, and then I'll pull it out, I'll flip it over, I'll do exactly the same on the other side, and I will let it sit on the counter for an hour, and then I'm going to throw it on the smoker. We are now 2 hours in, and I just pulled the steaks out of the refrigerator. So the next step I'm going to do is I'm going to flip the steaks over. I'm going to pat the bottom side dry, and I'm going to reapply kosher salt to the bottom, just like we did to the top. However, this time after I'm done, I'm going to let it sit on the counter for an hour. And in the meantime, I'm going to get the smoker ready and get ready to throw these things on the smoker in an hour. So this is what it should look like after you apply the salt to the bottom side. And then, like I said, just let them sit at room temperature and you're good to go. Hi everyone, welcome back. The steaks have now been sitting out for 3 hours, and I'm going to do the next step, which is sear them. I'm not going to give them a full sear because I don't like that much of a crust, and the smoker will help me out anyways with finishing that. So I am going to throw both of them on a cast iron skillet that I've had heated up. Now that I have all the sides fully seared, I'm going to let them rest for a little bit, and then I'm going to put on seasoning. That can be, Montreal steak seasoning. You can just do salt and pepper. Like I said, I just do a light little sear, nothing major, just because, like I said, I like the smoker to do most of the work. So the steaks have sat for about 5 minutes. You can see the little sear that I put on here. Like I said, some people will really finish it off. I prefer not to do that just because I like the way that it ends up on the smoker. So now what I'll do is I will put on the seasoning before I throw her on the smoker. And I already seasoned the other side, so there's the top, we're ready to go, and I'm about to throw it on the smoker. Hi everyone, welcome back. I currently have the Weber Smokey Mountain sitting at about 225 degrees. Since I seared this ahead of time, I smoke it at 225, 230-ish. If I were to do this top sirloin cap without searing it ahead of time, I would actually smoke it at 275. First on. I'm going to put meat probes in. I'm going to try to have this be finished at about 135. Then I'll pull it and I'll let them sit for about 5 to 10 minutes before I do anything with the steaks. We'll check back in when those hit 135. Hi everyone, just wanted to give you an update. We are 45 minutes into the smoke, and as you can see, we just hit 135. One of them just bumped to 136, so I'm going to get ready to pull these off the smoker. One of the things I did want to mention is I did not baste this with any beef bouillon or beef broth at all, because I'm using the water pan in my Weber Smokey Mountain. Sometimes I will baste it, however with this I did not want to baste it halfway through, because you know what they say, if you're looking, you ain't cooking. So I did not want to open the lid on this, so I'm going to get ready to pull these off the smoker. Alright, the steaks have hit 135, so I am getting ready to pull these off. As you can see, they have a nice little crust on them. Very, very tender. You can see the juice actually rushing out of that one, so I'm not going to play with them too much. And take the meat probes out of them, and then I will let them rest for 5 minutes, and I will start carving into them. As you can see by just looking at the top of that one, it just has so much juice dripping. These are going to be delicious. Hi everyone, so I have the steaks pulled off the smoker and I've had them sitting for 5 minutes. As you can see, they are nice and juicy. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to slice them, and when you slice these steaks, you want to make sure that you slice them across the grain so they have a nice tug to them when you eat them. Like I said, I'm going to make a sandwich. You can also eat this as a normal steak. So, first cut. You can see it has the nice pink center on it. That is perfectly medium rare. If you're going to do a steak sandwich, you probably want to cut it a little thinner like this. You can definitely taste the nice hickory smoke. It is so juicy, it's so tender. I can't wait. And this is basically just like cutting through butter. It is so tender. It is so moist. I mean, you really just can't go wrong with something that is this juicy. I mean, look at the pull with that. I mean, that is just, this is what you want to look for right there. That is one juicy steak. Look at that. See the juice just dripping out of it. So that's this one. Let's see if steak number 2, I was equally as lucky. Once again, perfectly medium rare. You can see the juices dripping out of that. I want to save some of those for later. I have it on my hand already. So what I'm going to do now is, like I said, I'm going to turn it into a sandwich. If you want to use horseradish, you can do that. I am not a huge fan of horseradish. I think it's a little on the spicy side. So I'm going to assemble my sandwich. I put this on French bread. I browned it a little bit in the oven. And now I'm going to take a little bit of the onions from the au jus. So that is what my top sirloin sandwich looks like. I'm going to bend it over. Dip it in the au jus. That is wonderful. The onion mixed with the smoke from the steak and then just the tenderness is the keeper. If you guys like this video, please subscribe. I'll have many more. Thank you.